Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first ever live stream of a story time. This is real estate story time, where we tell the stories that others are too afraid to mention, and it's real life things that have happened to me over the last couple months. I'm sure you're all here, ready, waiting, and willing to have a wonderful time. But before we do that, thank you so much for being here. I love all of you. And if you learned something today, please go ahead and drop that like, subscribe, or follow button, and so you can see all the good stuff in the future. With that being said, welcome everybody that's here. Are you guys ready for some stories? Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of stories lined up for you guys tonight. We have my first open house ever. We have my first listing ever. We have getting my car stolen at an open house. We have getting trapped in an elevator at an open house, and running a first-time home buyers event at a convention. We're going to start from the top. We're going to make our way down. And if there's anything you guys would like me to talk about, or you have questions, you have stories or anything like that you want me to dive into, ask them in the chat. I will 1000% respond. And maybe that'll be the next storytime video. Okay? But with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with my first open house. So if you guys don't know, I started off my real estate career in the start of January, right off in the new year, kicked it off, and I was like, crap, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm here, I've got my license, I'm ready to go, I have all this knowledge, I have all this, like, you know, education, but how do I actually apply it? And luckily for me, I was pragmatic. I sought out one of the best companies in North America to work for, which was Remax. And Remax, if you guys don't know, they sell like 60 or 70% of like all the houses that are sold in Vancouver. Like, by far, they overpopulate the sales by like a very, very large margin. So by working with them, there's so many real estate agents at Remax that need help. Okay, like when you're doing this job, you are your own business, and sometimes it's overwhelming. You have 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 clients, right? And they all want to have their open houses that weekend. And there's no way you can be two places at once. And when I first got into this industry, I did not realize that all open houses basically happen on Saturday and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. There's like this time slot. Your open house is either 1 to 3 or 2 to 4, and they all happen at the same time. And you basically have 2 days to do like basically maybe 2 or 4 open houses, and that's it. That's all you got. So if you have like 10 clients and they all want an open house and you only have 4 time slots to put them in, you're going to need help, you're going to need assistance. And that's where I came in. So I got working with this wonderful lady. Her name's Corey at Remax, and Corey is like an angel. Like, she is so knowledgeable. Like, she is like the divine grace of real estate. She runs her own staging business. She has basically like taken me under her wing and being like, okay, Spencer, this is how you do things, and stuff like that at open houses, right? So she gave me a golden opportunity. It's like, here's a listing. It's a townhouse. It's a brand new townhouse listing that just went up in this area of Riverwood. And I would like you to run this open house for me. I will even give you my signs. She was so nice. She gave me her open house signs because like my signs hadn't come in yet. And she's like, do as much work as you can to make this open house beautiful. I trust you. Okay. So you know what I did? I went out and I utilized the neighborhood. I went out and I door knocked over 200 doors in the area of the neighborhood, basically being like, hi everybody, there's an open house here, did you hear? Da, 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 da. And I handed out flyers. I made my own flyers. I talked to all these things, and it was awkward at first until I got my script down. And like imagine just walking up to the door, knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm at your house. Oh, why am I here? Well, we're selling a house nearby, so come please. But eventually you get into a rhythm, be just like, hey, my name is Spencer. I'm with Remax. Sorry to bug you. We're just letting the neighbors know that we're doing an open house right next door. Yeah, that place just over there. We're doing an open house there, and we're just inviting you out. We're gonna have a couple of drinks. We're gonna have a couple of snacks, and we're basically just making a community event over it. So if you would like to help, James, Brenda, whatever the client's name is, she's trying to sell her place, and we really love if the neighbors helped us find somebody so that we can kind of keep like the vibe of the neighborhood like as it is, right? So yeah, we're inviting you out. Here's some information about the place. Would you like to hear more? Kind of thing. And just kind of getting more of a script down for this. And after you go through like 10, 15, 30, 100, 200 doors, you get your script down to a pad. And went on out and get the thing. So the open house comes, and I get there, and there's a lockbox, and I have no idea what the code is. I'm like, Corey, there's a lockbox. You said the key was at the house. How do I get in? And she's like, oh, well, I thought you had the open house app that gives you access to lockbox. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I'm way too new at this. And she's like, oh, don't worry, let me text you. So she screenshots the open house box, sends it to me. I get the keys, I open it up. And as I'm going to open up the door, the client opens the door and is like, hi, we're still here. I'm like, oh, hi. So I got to meet this wonderful couple. The husband was a carpenter, and he did so much like renovations to the place. The wife had like 2 kids, and there was a cat. I didn't know there was a cat. I'm highly allergic to cats, but it was fine. They cleaned up the place really nicely, stuff like that. But like their house was immaculate compared to every other place on the street. They had touched it up, they painted it, they did a whole bunch of like things. They actually like uninstalled the original fireplace and it installed like a more modern version of it. Like this place was like decked out, right? And we went ahead, I opened the door at 2 p.m. and from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. it did not stop. There was people in there constantly. We had maybe 25, 30 groups of people come through, over 100 people in total. There were kids, there were grandparents, there was young families, there was local neighbors. Like we just got swarmed by so many people coming into this open house. And as soon as it was started, it was done. It was like exhilarating and crazy. And I was trying to keep up. I was trying to write down notes. I was trying to get people to log in the open house app. We were trying to educate people about the place and answer questions of that. But it was like, it was so chaotic and so cool. And so it was honestly like a really refreshing experience. I'm like, okay, this is what real estate is like, right? And then on Wednesday, that happened on Saturday. On Wednesday, I come into our meeting because like every every week the Remax has like a big open meeting where we can talk about stuff's going on in the business, right? And Corey's like, hey guys, guess what Spencer did? And I'm like, oh, what you mean what I did? It's like, hey everybody, how many people came to your open house, all right? And like they put up their hands like 2, 3, 5, 0, 0, 4, 2, 5, so that. And there's Corey's like, hey Spencer, how many people came to your open house? I'm like 100. And they're like, what the heck? What did you do? I'm like, well, I'm new at this business, so I went door to door and I knocked and I talked to people and I generated interest and like I did my job. And they were like, oh, okay. So now I have so many people at Remax, like other realtors, like knocking on my door every day being like, hey Spencer, do you want to help me out with our open house this weekend? I would love it if you help me out with your our open house this weekend. That'd be great. In fact, we're going to demand you help us out with this open house this weekend. All right, buddy? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And from that, I actually found my first client, and we'll tell that story on the next one. Okay? If you wanted to see hear the story about how I met my first client, that'll be in the next video. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.